The readings this Sunday present us with the first sin and Jesus himself beginning his encounter and conquering of sin on our behalf. In the first reading, we see the first sin being played out, her dialogue with the serpent, and ultimately her fall. It's interesting that this sin is prefaced by the recounting of the breath of life from God himself into the nostrils of man to bring him to be a living being. It's this transmitting of the divinity's own life that brings the uniqueness of human life and the possibility for sharing in the divine life. And it's this very forgetfulness of the divine life within us that it begins the first step towards each and every sin that we commit. When Eve dialogues with the serpent's tactic is to place God as an adversary against Eve and Adam. He contends that God's laws are arbitrary, that they're restrictive, and that God does not have the best interests of Adam and Eve in mind, that he is fickle or that he's toying with them, and that he limits them in their happiness. It's this doubting of God in his goodness that leads to the first sin and the desire to snatch away from God this happiness by one's own efforts. In the gospel reading, we see these first steps that Jesus takes towards the cross and our ultimate redemption. He enters the desert instead of a garden and conquers the true adversary, goes face to face with Satan and his temptations. And Jesus' great victory in our own flesh over the temptations is his fidelity to the Word of God, that he refuses to doubt the goodness of his Father. And it is this conquering of sin in our human flesh that Jesus takes on. It is this overcoming of the adversary and his lies that begins this movement towards the cross and the ultimate victory and gift of faithfulness to his Father in all things, even unto death, that brings about our salvation and our own capacity to truly participate in him who is life.